Today there has been yet another news in the Nordic Bitcoin Treasury landscape because Goobit, which also operates the crypto exchange BTCX, has gone out and says that they have launched a long-term Bitcoin Treasury strategy. And therefore we are happy to talk more about this with Christian Ander, CEO of both the companies. Welcome, Christian.
Thank you very much, Morten. We're very pleased to be in your host.
And this announcement went out this morning, and there you're saying you are launching a Bitcoin Treasury strategy. Why do you do it, and what is the benefit for the company?
So the reason why you launch a Bitcoin Treasury is for the company to have Bitcoin on its balance sheet. And for us, this is a very long-term play. We strongly believe that Bitcoin will be the future of capital markets, and the companies having Bitcoin in the treasury, giving them an edge over other companies. And this is because when things are evolving and the financial markets need stability, which Bitcoin presents, you want to do trade in Bitcoin. You want to do loan in Bitcoin, you want to do leverage, you want to do contracts in Bitcoin. Currently, dollar is this used today, but we strongly believe that this will shift and more transaction and companies will use Bitcoin as it means of both payment and capital, but also trading. And if you look at the market now, we think Bitcoin is extremely cheap. So initiating a Bitcoin treasury today means you can build a capital company at a much lower price today than you can in, let's say, 10 years.
But you already have an operation. You are running a crypto exchange and you also have OTC trade. And what will be the future for these two different business concepts? What will be the trade part and what will be the treasury part?
So for the treasury, utilizing our operation gives some extra benefits. For example, when we do want to buy Bitcoin, we can source the Bitcoin directly from our existing customers instead of paying a fee, for example, of finding the best Bitcoin in the market. We actually have a negative fee because we can buy it directly from our customers. Of course, it depends on how the seller pressure is currently in the market, etc. But we do have the knowledge, we do have the network, we do have the biggest community here in the Nordics with Bitcoin users. So that gives us an edge over other players out there. But I also want to emphasize that Bitcoin treasury companies, more and more are coming to the market, and the more Bitcoin treasury companies that are being established, the better it is for everyone. So it's a win-win scenario. So when we are launching now today, and the other companies that are doing the same, and I see there will be a lot of more of these companies globally in the entire world. So we're actually building a new network of capital companies that probably will be the foundation of the next phase of the financial era.
I think we have identified about 12 companies in Norway and Sweden, and the first one launched in April or something. Are you late to the party?
No, we're still extremely early. I get this question all the time from investors. Normal investors, they have maybe their capital in companies on the stock market or in gold or in real estate. And I say, no, we're still extremely early. It's just a few percentage of the world population that have Bitcoin today. And in the developed countries, they're a bit higher percentage. But we're still seeing adoption is coming more and more. And what I also see is currently accelerating. So you're not late to the party, but the train is about to move.
Maybe you get another question also. When are you going to take the profit and exit after you have invested in Bitcoin?
Never. We will never sell. We might borrow it, we might invest it, we might do things to get yield from it. We're already now discussing different strategies. How can we deploy this to get yield? When we have established that strategy, that's something also we will go out with the market. But I see there are plenty of good options how to use a strong Bitcoin treasury and get a yield on this, which is super interesting.
So what is happening in your view is that it's a total change in the financial market and you have to be positioned in it. Is that the thinking?
Oh yes, big time. I think more and more financials will go over the blockchain. We see Trump and Americans are pushing out their American dollars as a stable coin. That's one way to stay relevant in the future. Bitcoin is, of course, the unthreatenable number one digital asset, and it will be that for many, many years to come. But the fiat currencies, to stay relevant, they have to catch up. So the Americans, they're pushing stable coins, and in Europe, unfortunately, we're pushing regulations. So I think in Europe, Bitcoin will become an even more important asset than the dollar in America, because I think America is doing the right move.
And what are your goals then, medium and long term?
Medium and long term, yeah, we'll aggressively start to accumulate more Bitcoin, as this is a good price to buy Bitcoin, and we'll get a bigger and bigger treasury. And also, we've been around for 14 years, since 2011, so that's one of our main strengths. We've been around for 3 bear markets, and even if Bitcoin go into another bear market, we don't know that, it might be a hyper cycle. But we're positioned to take care of that. And if that happens, we'll buy even more Bitcoin at an even cheaper price. So the medium long-term goal is to just establish as much Bitcoin as we can, utilize our current community within the Nordics, which is the strongest one. We're the strongest Bitcoin community here, and expand that out in Europe. And that's also going on in the operations part. We have the MiCA license that we are working with, and with that we can also expand the treasury in Europe through the operations.
Is this also part of your international strategy, not only be in Sweden and maybe not even only in the Nordics, but going into Europe and even further?
So for the operation parts, we are going into Europe and beyond. For the treasury part, it will be global from day one, since the stock market is global. But we will use the operation to fuel the treasury, and we will see more. We will show you more how we will do that. But we have some really good ideas how to do the combination of this operation, so they have strong synergies.
But you said in the beginning that Bitcoin is sort of a stable token, but historically it has been very volatile. And how will you then manage if then the price goes down, the Bitcoin price, or for that matter, if the value of the stock is not aligned with the value of the Bitcoin on the treasury, on the balance? There can be two different scenarios.
Yeah, definitely. No, so Bitcoin will have its cycles, and it's volatile to the upside, which is the benefit. I mean, that's why there are Bitcoin treasuries companies at all. We see that it's a limited amount of Bitcoin, and there's about an unlimited amount of fiat money being generated. So yes, there will be volatility. We will use this for our best, and of course it's up to the investors. When we want to raise more capital and buy more Bitcoin, it's up to the market to evaluate how much capital we can access, but we will do it as aggressively we can in both bear and bull markets. And the company stock, we have the MNAV, and I think the traders and the arbitrage will use that to create both benefits for us and the other shareholders, but also have a stock that is quite liquid, and we can also trade our own stock if we wish to do that.
What about funding? Have you raised? I understand that it has been a private placement, and it has been not then for the shareholders, existing shareholders, but for new strategic investors. Why have you gone that direction and picked up some funding for new investors.
So we want to position ourselves as a treasury company. So for the first round, it's a very strategic round. So we talk with investors that have knowledge and network in the treasury, Bitcoin treasury world. We also have talked with people in the traditional finance world, which have good network. So we want to establish a line of investors with either a vast network or can participate in many rounds coming. So we have Brad Mills and Carl Michael Sydig on board, which are both very known in the space, one in the treasury space and one in traditional finance space. And then we also have a number of other investors that are strategic that will continue to help us throughout this journey. So the first round is a smaller one, but very strategic.
Will there then also be a round where existing shareholders are able to increase their holdings?
We will see how we do this. There will be many rounds. As I said before, we have the biggest and strongest Bitcoin community in the Nordics, and we will of course use this and try to engage them to also build a community treasury. If we can become the biggest community treasury in Europe, this will benefit all our users, it will benefit all our shareholders, and we will have a quite strong position in the market. So this is one of the goals we want to build when going out in Europe.
Could you be more concrete about that? I was thinking about a mental treasury community or a concrete community treasury.
So the plan about this is not public yet, and we're still building the strategy for the community treasury. But I see we have strong synergies, and we can utilize our current platform for the community to participate in rounds. But more information will come with this later on. So hold your horses, Martin.
So then you maybe will be the folkeaktie then among the Bitcoin treasury companies, just a hypothesis.
Yeah. Might become something like that. We'll see.
Okay then, related, just a last question about the industry, and because as I understand it, you believe that for every new company that is doing it, the sector is getting stronger and the Bitcoin is getting stronger. So there's no real competition here, or how is it?
So in basics, no. If you have a few strong Bitcoin treasury in every market and in every country, then you can really start to use Bitcoin as a capital. Because when you have this network, which Bitcoin in itself already offers, but with regulated companies integrated into the normal or the existing financial world, you will get a more seamless flow of Bitcoin deals, how to say it. I mean, today, if you want to take a loan and buy a house or something, you need to have a traditional bank. But tomorrow, you can come to us. That's the point. And when you have these partners all over the world, then you definitely have an extra or a parallel or a Bitcoin economy going on that is equally utilized as the normal traditional finance. So that's the strength. And there's always some competition, of course. We're talking with the same investors that invest in other treasury companies. But there's also different phases going on. There might be some treasury companies that have in a different cycle than we are. So we're also seeing investors jumping back and forth between the companies and injecting capital here, injecting it over there, moving it to other places, depending on the size, the ticket size. And so I think currently there's a lot more capital than there are treasury companies. So good times.
Okay then, thank you, Christian, and good luck then both with the funding and also the accumulation of Bitcoin, and of course it will be interesting to see how this industry evolves. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Morten, for hosting me. Thank you.